That's right, The Lion King 2, The Search for More Money. But you know what? Beauty and the Beast also made $1 billion, and where's my sequel to that movie? I felt that was crying out for a sequel. And some of you, when I tweeted out this Lion King 2 news, cried out, what about Aladdin 2? But remember, Disney did officially announce they're working on a script for that sequel. So hooray! That movie also deserves a sequel. Some of you are probably like, The Lion King least deserves a sequel, Grace. Don't worry, it gets good. It gets good. I have good news to give you. But when it comes to Aladdin 2, they started working on the script a while ago, and we're in the middle of a pandemic, so those writers have had nothing else to do. And apparently, still haven't been able to crack Aladdin 2. Because it doesn't seem they're going to be blatantly copying the direct-to-video sequels, as is evidenced by The Lion King 2. Because they've decided not to copy the direct-to-video sequel like they did with the 2019 Lion King copying the 1994 version. Shot for shot. I mean, come on! I think at least we know Barry Jenkins would never do that. It's bad. But it looks like they're copying, get this, The Godfather Part 2. Hey, if you're going to copy from the best. So yes, word is that screenwriter Jeff Nathanson, who wrote the 2019 The Lion King, maybe feels a tad guilty. And he's like, I have a better idea. What if I copied something else? No, but I mean, that was a direct copy. It's perfectly legit, in my opinion, to do an homage to something else, especially when you take like a family film like The Lion King and you kind of like go after a more adult film like The Godfather Part 2. I think it's super cool. So apparently, word is the idea, according to Deadline, is that we'll follow Simba taking over as king, intercut with flashbacks of Mufasa's origin. I like it. I like it a lot. This is great, actually. Barry Jenkins will take over for Jon Favreau, which means there will be a bit of a learning curve VFX-wise. Remember, Jon Favreau he'd already cut his teeth on The Jungle Book. But don't worry, Disney will surround Jenkins with a very experienced crew. Just like when someone says, hey, Marvel, I don't know if I can direct action sequences. They say, don't worry about it. We have people to do that for you. Now, what about Johnny Favs? What's he doing? Well, I think this is just yet another sign that he's going to be busy for the foreseeable future in a galaxy far, far away. Don't forget, how could many of you forget, Kathleen's Kennedy contract extension expires at the end of next year, and she's going to have to do part of that to transition to the next leadership, to the new leadership. So a lot of us at this point feel it'll be probably Jon Favreau in some capacity. And so I think the fact that he didn't take this gig, even though he was supposed to, I think means hopefully good stuff. Fingers crossed. Now back to The Lion King. Shirley Jenkins is meant to offset the rampant criticism of the 2019 film, which again was a shameless shot-for-shot remake of the 1994 groundbreaking film. Like, I remember watching it and I was like, yeah, this is good, but you stole someone else's work. And there was a big scandal, in fact. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't a big scandal because not enough people made a big deal about it. But the people who made the 1994 film were like, you know, it's kind of uncool that you not only didn't pay me any of this money, because this, I'm going to talk about its box office in a moment, but they made a ton of money off of this, the 2019 version. So not only did the people who did this, basically did the work, they didn't get any of the share of the profits, but they didn't even get any credit. So they were pretty upset about it, and unfortunately, no one cared. It's so sad. It's the same thing with the Aladdin, live-action Aladdin. You might recall that the screenwriters who actually went on to do the Pirates of the Caribbean movies complained that their actual lines of dialogue were in the 2019. 2019 was a good year for live-action Disney movies. But they said it was in the 2019 Aladdin, and we didn't get any credit or money for it, even though, again, we actually literally wrote that line. And that's because animation unions aren't so good. I don't even think there is actually an animation union. So that really sucks. But anyway, Disney's like, you didn't unionize, whatever. I don't know if they even could. So that's a whole different conversation. But anyway, yeah, it was uncool what Jon Favreau did in 2019. So, but over $1 billion at the box office, I'm sure made Disney feel a little bit better, because The Lion King 2019's version, you thought the first one made a lot of money. Well, the second one, the remake, live action, it's all CGI, But it's to date the #7 highest grossing film of all time, and it's the highest grossing Disney proper film, aka not an acquired franchise. That's incredible. Only The Lion King and Frozen 2 are in the top 10. And there are a lot of Disney movies in there, but those are only, like, as I said, Disney proper. So you can see how valuable those brands are to Disney and Disney live action remakes in general, which we just talked about the other day. If you want to see my video about upcoming Disney live action remakes, now add this one to the list. There's a link down below at the top of the comment section to that video. Now, also, so you might be like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. A lot of people want to see 2019's The Lion King. Why bring in Barry Jenkins? Who has no experience with VFX. So again, it's a little bit of a risk. I don't think that big of a risk, but a tad bit of a risk. I think it's because, remember how at last year's Oscars, the Academy sent Disney a clear message by not only nominating 3 small animated films for Best Animated Movie, but outright snubbing Frozen 2, didn't even get a nomination? That was really bad. And then The Lion King, which Disney was like, this isn't animation, even though everybody was like, it's animated, it's computer animated. That did get a nomination, 1 nomination for VFX, but it didn't even win that. So it was a bad year. Disney heard the Academy loud and clear. You gotta up your artistic game. And Barry Jenkins does that in spades. Jenkins won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay for Moonlight and has been nominated 2 other times. Once for, director for Moonlight, and then If Beale Street Could Talk screenplay. And then, of course, Moonlight famously beat out La La Land at the last minute for Best Picture. Now, you might be like, didn't Barry Jenkins get an Oscar for that too? Or didn't he get 2 Oscars? Well, here's a little bit of Oscar info for you. Only 3 producers can be nominated for in the Best Picture category. Because, there's a lot of producers on a movie. So the Academy caps it at 3. You can only have 3 people that you put forward to get the Oscar if you win Best Picture. And Barry Jenkins was not a producer at all on Moonlight, so he wasn't on the list. He did famously speak when they won, though. So I think that probably causes some confusion as to whether or not he got an Oscar for that. But the fact is that none of the actual producers of the movie are people of color, and so I think the optics on that would have been pretty bad. So it was a huge moment. They beat La La Land. It was a mistake, and Moonlight took the stage. The crowd erupted, and they were like, "Yeah, let Barry say something." And I think it was definitely his moment. So Damien Chazelle and Barry Jenkins really went mano-a-mano that year, 2 bright new Hollywood talents. And interestingly, both have struggled with follow-up projects. That was a couple of years ago. But while Chazelle continues to produce original work, like a real pro, Jenkins is now pivoting towards brands. He's like, I've had enough. This isn't going anywhere. If Beale Street Could Talk was good, I didn't think it was Moonlight good, but it was good. But I think, Barry Jenkins is like, I got to make some progress. And good for him for admitting that to himself, or his team getting him to realize it, his management team. Because not only has he landed this Lion King directing gig, huge deal, the Disney and Lion King brands and the VFX experience he'll get working on this movie will open up a lot of doors for him in Hollywood going forward. Plus, Steven Soderbergh just revealed that Jenkins is working with his Moonlight actor, Andre Holland, to bring back The Knick. Oh boy, I loved The Knick, and I love Andre Holland. He was great on The Knick, and he's great in everything else I've ever seen him in. I feel bad he hasn't gone farther with his career. So, hey, sometimes you gotta do it your goddamn self, and they're doing it. I'm very happy for all these people. So while I had a major problem with 2019's The Lion King, I feel very good about its sequel. Very good. And also for the Aladdin sequel, because again, I'm happy that Disney is looking beyond the direct-to-video sequels that weren't the quality of the theatrical releases. Although, with Aladdin 2, while the story might change, I bet they do keep the title Return of Jafar. I mean, that's just iconic. That's great. And Marwan Kenzari did a great job in The Old Guard, which, by the way, co-starred Kiki Layne, who was the star of Barry Jenkins' If Beale Street Could Talk. Hollywood's a surprisingly small town. By the way, Marwan Kenzari should be like, hey, Kiki, and maybe Kiki will get a voice role in the new Lion King movie, but he should be like, tell Barry Jenkins to talk up around Disney how good I was in The Old Guard, so they give Jafar a good storyline in the sequel, to Aladdin. Because again, Kenzari did a great job in The Old Guard, so I just think he needs that better storyline to show more people what he's got. And I think even in Aladdin, he had some good moments. It just, I just don't think that he was taken care of the way he should have been. So, but that was a great movie. All right, so what do you think of The Lion King 2 with Barry Jenkins? And what do you think of the future of Disney live action? If they can break new ground into sequels with theatrical releases, whereas back in the day they went to direct to video, that would be exciting stuff. All right, so share those thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.